What up is Dane coming at you with a push workout and another informative voiceover. So first of all, to point out, my technique does need some improvement. Now, my excuse to this is that 100 kg for me feels a bit light. However, like you will see soon, I tried to change the positioning of my feet. Therefore, I don't thrust my hips up in it as much, and I will be working on this. I will be choosing a different feet position. Now, as you could probably tell, my bench is more of a powerlifting bench. I have more of an arch in my lower back, and to be honest with you, on this day, man, the weight felt so heavy. So anyway, doing a hip thrust slash bench press, and that is going to change soon. Yeah, 130 kg for 6 felt pretty heavy, but before I tell you something, let's jump into this next clip. Oh, say your YouTube name.
Yeah, do that.
I'm recording you.
Oh, you're doing it now. It's just Toby Wilde. It's just my name. Don't get me so close. Why are you getting me so close? It's just Toby Wilde.
What are you doing with this crotch?
So I tried to drop the weight to 120 kg just to, change the technique instead of thrusting my hips up in the air. Now, one thing I have to get into this video is a lot of people ask the question between barbells versus dumbbells. Now, here's the thing. With barbells, you can micro load, like you can add 1.25 kg, whereas the dumbbells just go up in 2 kg, right? You can also lift a lot more weight, but I'll get into the other side of this in a minute. Now, with dumbbells, you can get a lot more range of motion. Now, in my opinion, instead of picking one or the other, why not use more variety? Because you got to understand, when you look at even scientific studies, they compare, let's say, bench press versus a fly, right? And they say, oh, bench press led to more muscle growth. Well, maybe in other muscles, but when you look at pec hypertrophy, because you need to understand that hypertrophy, so muscle growth, can be regional. For example, if you look at your chest, the bench press might lead to a bit more lower pec growth than if you did, that's the barbell, so if you did the dumbbell bench press, it might lead to more upper pec growth instead of lower pec growth. So regional muscle growth can occur, so also keep that in mind. Now, one thing I have to mention as well is that although, let's say you're doing a barbell movement, you can probably lift a lot more weight, right? You need to understand that other synergist muscles are probably coming into play as well. So if you do bench press, your triceps are coming into play massively, your anterior delts, or other muscles. So the actual, because our main aim is bodybuilding, so growing the muscle we want to grow, it might not be the most beneficial of doing one type of exercise all the time. Now anyway, getting back on track, you saw me do seated dumbbell shoulder press, and I haven't done that for a long period of time. I used to do 48 kg, now, starting up back off again, and as you could see, and I'll try and put it back in here now, is that I tried to go full range of motion, man, all the way up, all the way down, whereas, to be honest with you, before when I did the 48s, I didn't go all the way down, so a lot more emphasis on range of motion during my hypertrophy phase as well. And as you can see, I like to improve my bench press. I guess that's another focus, isn't it? So anyway, moving on, right? Oh, I've got to speak about this. So I thought, okay, let's move into overhead triceps extension. Meanwhile, it was a bicep curl station. So, right, that didn't turn out well. So anyway, progressive overload right now. This is key, and I spoke about it in a video before. People just think of progressive overload as adding more weight over a period of time. However, this is not the only way. You can decrease your rest time. You can alter the tempo. You can increase range of motion, which in my opinion is the most underrated one, because it's shown that a full range of motion is superior for muscular hypertrophy and will lead to more activation of the full motor unit, or the spectrum of full motor units and muscle fibers. So that's that. Now, why am I picking certain exercises, right? I picked the barbell bench press because I want to get stronger and better at it. I just find it fun. I picked the dumbbell seated press because, although in my opinion, and a lot of evidence-based people, they say presses for shoulders aren't exactly always necessary. And I really 100% agree with this as well. However, I do think presses have also got their time and place. So just do a few sets of presses, but I wouldn't say go overboard on it, because if you do enough chest exercises, so like horizontal pressing, your anterior delt is definitely getting a lot of work, especially if you haven't got a massive arch like mine. So that's that. Now, coming into front raises, I want to pick this one up quickly. I don't understand why a lot of people do front raises, right? Unless your body just doesn't respond to any kind of pressing, your front delts will most likely still be quite developed, right? So in that opinion, or in my opinion, if you want to get really good, well-developed shoulders, start hitting your rear delts a lot more, starting hitting your lateral delts, and keep in mind, when it comes to frequency of hitting each muscle group, you can hit your shoulders a lot more often, right? Especially if you're doing these isolation movements, because they're not going to tax you as much. So maybe hit them like 4 to 5 times per week. Obviously in accordance to everything else you're doing. A lot of other stuff might have to go on a back burner, right? So you're obviously upping volume for your shoulders and maybe having maintenance for other muscle groups. Now, next thing, my muscle connection, just before we end this here and talk about another topic after this. I've spoken a lot about my muscle connection, right? And I don't think it's all bullshit, right? Because although a lot of things that bodybuilders said 50 years ago is kind of bullshit, I don't think they were completely wrong with my muscle connection. Because if you think about it, right? If you do an exercise and you have my muscle connection, you can feel that muscle group really working. I'm pretty sure, and I think some research even shows that it led to more muscle activation. And I've done another video on, how to get six-pack abs, a lot of sciencey stuff there, and loads of those studies that showed that, or some of them at least, show that internal cues for thinking about, right, contracting this muscle actually led to more muscle activity, whereas muscle activity leads to muscle growth is also another video. But anyway, that's just touching on that point. Now, lastly, I want to talk about probably my exercise selection like I did before. So overhead tricep extension, why did I pick that one? I picked that one because, in my opinion, I could actually get more mind muscle connection. It leads to a greater range of motion. And why didn't I pick a tricep press down, right? And here's the deal. When you do, like, let's say bench press, or you do horizontal pressing, so dumbbell bench press, barbell, your lateral head of your tricep will get enough stimulation. So whereas your, long head probably won't so much. Hence why I picked the overhead tricep extension. Now, the barbell face pull, I love that exercise, man. I feel it a lot more on my rear delts compared to the rope face pull, so that's why I picked that one. And lastly, I picked the cable low to high incline fly. Well, that's what I call it, but it's obviously low to high fly, because I want to bring some more of my upper chest up. And although my program has literally just got it's actually just got the barbell bench press, also the close grip incline bench press, and then for the isolation exercise for my chest, I've got this one. So 2 upper chest movements and 1, I guess we could say, all around low or lower chest movement. It doesn't really matter too much because your chest is going to grow as whole, like one thing, right? You can't just see your upper chest massively blow up and your lower chest just stay there like small forever, right? It doesn't really work like that altogether. So for that reason, I picked the low to high incline fly, because with more like shoulder adduction, what am I talking about? Adduction, more shoulder extension. So basically lifting your shoulder up and away. I'm trying to show you here, but you can't see me. It leads to more upper chest stimulation, right? So that's that. That's just a few points in this voiceover. This voiceover, I guess, is a bit all over the place, but still, I hope someone just learned something. I mean, that's the whole point. Again, go follow that guy, TOBY. He's a nice guy, for now anyway. But you go follow him. Let me know if you watched this video to the full video. I can't speak, man. What's going on? I'm hungry now. Stay positive, stay smiling. Let's get it. Keep bulking, and I'll see you in the next one.